All right, so gentlemen, you guys look great. You sound great. So for anybody listening, well, here we're on Roadhounds. This is the new show, Headbangers Havoc. You know, it's basically my ripoff of Headbangers Ball, but I wanted to call it actually Headbangers Balls, but they wouldn't let me because they said that was too close. They're like, we'll get sued.
That's so creative. I love it.
They're like, I think we're going to get sued if we do that. And I was like, okay, well then maybe we should get sued. But I have the gentleman here alive and stone, and I'm very excited.
Yes.
Well, because your band is amazing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Yeah. So here's the thing is prior to this interview, before I pushed record, I was telling the guys that I go to my friend sends me this link to Lowe's, and he's like, all ladders are like over 50% off. So of course I have my due diligence of talking to you gentlemen. But at the same time, I'm right here ordering ladders because I am an adult now, and I got really excited, and I just had to think about that as I just got excited about buying ladders. And how does that make you guys feel?
Well, it makes us excited too because we're adults too.
Yeah,
and sometimes we need to climb on the roof.
I dread going to Home Depot to buy this kind of stuff.
Are you guys are any of you guys afraid of heights or ladders?
Right here.
You know, as you said that, I kind of felt that I was like, this guy's afraid of heights. You know, I grew up with my dad was a contractor, a painter, and that motherfucker would go, hey, can you take that 50-pound bundle of shingles to the top of that roof? And I was like 7. So I was born on ladders, so I have a little bit of a thing, but. You know, I know we're here to talk about music, but I find home projects just way more entertaining than music. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I mean, it's definitely a useful task. I mean, you definitely have to have a little bit of both to survive.
That's true. So you guys are relatively new. I like that. And it's like, right. So I can tell you guys aren't 16, which is I'm listening to your music and understanding, you know, I'm guessing you guys were in a bunch of bands before and then figured it out and you're like, all right, we want to make this fucking rad band that sounds great. That is a culmination of all the things we've done in the past. And I'm going to be honest, it sounds fucking great.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
What kind of, you know, were you, I'm guessing you guys were in bands prior. What other type, were you guys all in the same style bands, or were they like, were you in a metal band? Were you in a boy band? Were you in this, you know what I mean?
He was in a boy band.
Brian was in the boy band.
That was it, man.
Yeah, I think we all have very similar taste in music and have been in very similar bands before, you know, ranging from really, you know, original rock metal bands. I'm currently in a 90s cover band, you know. Herman plays in a Linkin Park tribute band, you know, so.
Hey, that's cool as shit.
90s and kind of on after that. So very similar musical tastes overall.
Yeah.
I love that. And I do have a question about how you guys describe yourself because I got super pumped when I read it. What is cemetery pop?
I guess I'm gonna have to take this
because I'm intrigued. It's the most wonderful term I've ever heard. So go ahead.
So moving into with the new producer, we had experience with you on DW Presents, right? Releasing music. After that first album cycle, She's the Blade was the first of the songs that we did with a completely new producer named Dylan Herzog. Amazing producer out of Sanford, up and coming. His place is called Close Quarters Audio, so shout out to him. But when we went into it, you know, we knew that the production was excellent. The bands he had produced were great, but when we stepped in there and when we heard the tones and we heard, you know, how the skeleton, you know, the skeletons of how everything was being set up, there was this. It first started out as noir metal because it sounded like Sin City, the comic, looks like that
just makes sense.
Like that. Because like compared to a lot of the productions that you hear today, there's a lot in them. Sonically, they're excellent. They're very well polished. But like this one was kind of like just this raw step back, and it was like this tinge of, it was like we had the metal aspect, we had the rock aspect, and the structure of the song, the pop structure of like, you know, trying to get the catchiest parts and trying to get the most, trying to push it as much as you can, but there was always this tinge of darkness behind it. Almost like it sounded like, just the way the tone sounded and everything, is it sounded like it was very linear, but at the same time it was very like creative. I guess it was like, it was almost like this typo negative ghost darkness to it, but also this like, I don't know, man, like
this more of this
like
Backstreet Boys. No, I'm just
no,
kidding.
not like that. But it was just like, it was like this metal sound, this like,
we still had these big catchy choruses.
This active,
almost,
it was this,
you know?
it was like almost this glam metal type chorus like vibe, and this like big raw chorus thing, and just like this idea of pop structure, but it still had this rawness and this silence in it where like something's not playing all the time in the background. Like it's almost like a step back into the more raw style of production that you heard in the early 2000s and stuff like that. And just, there was this identity and this breath. The cemetery pop, in my opinion, mostly refers to the production. Yeah,
I know. You know, as you describe it, it does. It makes a lot of sense, because I'm in a band called Strange Kids. Like, I put out like one song every 700 years, but I used to call it funeral pop, and I've never heard anybody else go like down that world of like. And I saw cemetery pop, and I got really excited. I was like, this is awesome, and I hope everyone just wants to be labeled as that, because it makes sense. I know exactly what you're talking about with like those. You know, those, you know, that ghost grit, but with those pop choruses. Like, I would almost say that ghost is that subgenre as well. I think it is really a subgenre that I think we need to band together. And make it like Grammy nominated for cemetery pop.
I love it.
Which would be incredible. Live streaming's back. And you know where we're doing it? Over at Roadhounds. And it's fucking free. All you have to do is go to roadhounds.io and you go to the Metal City fucking free zone. That means it's free for you to come watch me be a complete idiot. It's pretty crazy. You can move the controls on your mobile screen with your hand, or you can use a keyboard. Just don't forget to take screenshots of your avatar, because I want to see it. You can discover free media inside Rock City. All you have to do is look for some terminals and click on some shit. Now you can learn about all your new favorite bands and all your next new headliners. If you want to join our community of headbangers, all you have to do is subscribe. So you can get even more content by just subscribing at Roadhounds. So we're going to give you a free Metal City free zone. And then if you want extra super cool, awesome content, you just subscribe. We're going to make a positive difference to our music community. For once, finally, a positive fucking experience. So, what I like to do also with the, you know, this new platform where, you know, with Roadhounds is kind of, we want to push all of these bands to find the new headliners. You know, there's a lot of things going around that, like, I listen, I love Slipknot, I love Avenged, I love Ghost, I love all of these giant bands. But who's next is a giant question that is really like daunting the festival circuit. And I think people are trying to kind of get worried, is like, how many times can you have Tool play a festival in 5 years, and Slipknot and all these big bands? So, you know, I'm trying to figure out, and us at Roadhounds, and I think you guys as well as everybody else, is what are the things that you think that people need to become those next headliners? Because we're trying to figure out how to support bands the correct way, how to push them. So in your eyes, what makes a headliner?
Someone who stands out from everyone else, someone who is something that's unapologetic, something that's not afraid to be what they are, something that plays music for them, something that stands out completely different from everyone else, that doesn't follow the trend, something that wants to make its own trend.
And how do you, like, that's the thing, is like, being like, so I do see like Ghost, like, since we're on the topic of Ghost, is, you know, I think they're definitely going to be one of those festival headliners up in the next couple of years. And it's, this is an honest question, because I manage bands as well. I'm in bands. I've been in bands that have headline festivals. But in 2023, what do you think the steps are to get there? Is it infiltrating magazines, streaming? How do you become a household name? Is like, what the fuck? You know, obviously being different and being unique is step one, but how are we all getting to that next step? I know we're all learning this together, but that's the question that I've been trying to figure out. Go ahead.
Add all those answers, right?
I
can tell you what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, Brian?
I would say this. I would say number one, and this is something there's a band called Loathe. I love those guys. Super creative group. It just, you hear it in art. I think even in other styles of art, like cooking, like, you know, Marco Pierre White said this the other day. He says, make food that you want to eat, right? That's the only way you can make, you know, and Loathe said, you know, make music for you, right? Because if you feel it, everyone else is going to feel it. I feel like it starts with us. We have to make music that we want to hear. And so it starts there. And then it starts with doing it over and over again and trying to hone your craft into where the point where it's you're so able to resonate with other people because you're making it the best you can and making it exceptional. That's the thing that we're trying to do. But not just that. The hugest thing is finding the community, finding the audience, telling stories around the music. How was this done? Staying on the social media, and it's like, the person that you can talk to is literally one click away. You can talk to this person and just vibe with them and find something that you both enjoy, which is typically music, but it's just like getting in the community where the people that are going to enjoy your music live, and create something in the music that you've never fucking seen or heard before.
I think
do it all the time.
I think connection is the number one opportunity to be able to. Yeah, because I mean, you know, I feel like when you listen to a band, you know, you're like, that band's gonna be big, you know. And I think one thing that gets in the way of a lot of those things is the band themselves and the people themselves. Is you know, I think I was in a band called Motionless in White, and for years and years and years, no one gave a fuck about anything. But you know what we did? We kept true to what we were doing, and we just kept playing. We kept playing in front of 5 people, 10 people. Then it was 20 people, then it was 50 people, then it was 500 people, then it was 1,000 people, then it was 10,000 people, then it was 25,000 people, then it was 50,000 people. That took 10 years to get there, and the struggle of like creating that communication. I think that is a very good, viable situation on how to forward music, is connecting with the people that are listening to it and being true to exactly what you're doing. Again, obviously, putting out a good product, we all know is one. Like, check. Like, have good music. Don't put out shit. You know. But you know, I think you nailed it right on the fucking head. Is connecting with people and telling a story, because that's what moves the needle. Is people are so, they think this big, but if you rope them in with a story, then they want to read into it. So I love that. I think that's a wonderful. You know, it's always different, the answers that I get out of those things, because sometimes it's like, oh, you just have to have 10 million streams a month. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, you know, but that was a good take on it and what it is. And I love that. That's the answer. That's the answer. I mean, that's the correct answer. Hey, Nick, when you're editing that, edit this clip, because that's the answer.
Thank you.
Go to roadhounds.io and come hang out with me in the metaverse, while we watch live shows, we go through stores, maybe we'll give away some guitars, some drums, maybe some free root beer. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want, we're going to give it away. Go to roadhounds.io and subscribe now. Come hang out with me.
But, you know, again, a lot of other things, you know, talking about music and putting out stuff, and it's interesting when you get a little older, because, you know, I'm older myself, and I went to go play a show, and it's hard. You have jobs, you have families, you have girlfriends, wives, dogs, this kind of stuff. Do you think that hinders you guys, or are you guys like dropping all your shit and going on tour tomorrow?
I'm dropping all my shit and going on tour.
Yes.
I don't know.
So there's a saying. I don't know how much of a movie buff you are, but there's a movie called Heat. I don't know if you've ever seen it before.
Wait, was it Pacino?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But and De Niro. So De Niro says he talks about, if like they're like a tight knit group, like they're like a bank robbers, right? And he says Jimmy Stack on the Yard. He says, never be attached to anything you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds if you spot the heat coming around the corner, right? I've structured my life, and these guys I know have structured their lives in a way where we're always going to be ready, no matter, nothing's going to be attached to or holding us back from getting to where we need to go. Especially me. I've structured my life in a way where I know that we're older, but I know that this is a dream of mine that I want to come true, and I'm never going to be attached to anything I can't stand in the way of. And these guys, these are my guys, and we're a team and we're a unit, just like those guys in that movie. So, that's how we move.
All right, listen. I need to take you with me wherever I go. This is like, all right, Nick, again, clip that, because that was a great. Are you media trained? I think this.
No.
I interview bands all the time. And it's fun. I love it, and I'm not saying you guys are old. You guys are more. Right. I feel like you understand how to answer questions in a way that everything you've answered I can use as a clip, which is fucking great.
Right,
like the thumbnail all day of is I always try to, I'm in media. I know the answers that I want, and I try to ask the questions that move a needle to get people's attention. I try to ask you guys questions that your fans would like. So then your fans come and look at it, and then other fans will come see that the things you answer and go, oh, I want to find out more about this band. Every answer that you guys have given has been great. I feel like I can sit here all day and just get those money checks. Really, we're you guys. I feel like you guys are going to be big just based on how you fucking talk to people, because that's another step of like the world is how you communicate with humans around you, and you guys give off a great energy from the second we came on here. I remember we've crossed paths, but like meeting. I feel like I've known you guys for 10 years just based on like that immediate energy clip which you guys give off. And I love that. And I think that's super important about in being a band. And I love that you guys will all just drop your shit and go on tour, because that's the other thing is like, you never know which way the wind is going to take you, and you have to be ready for it. Because I always say this is like, it takes one person. And like you said, it takes one phone call, one person to change your entire life. And I'm living proof of that. I was playing to 10, 15 people, and one guy walked by and was like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, I don't know. We're trying to fucking trying to get a record deal, trying to get a booking agent, trying to fucking figure out if anybody likes us. And he was just like, yeah, cool. I want to manage you guys. And here's a label that I think you can sign to. And like 2 months later, our lives changed based on one guy that didn't even give a shit that where he was at. He was just like strolling by. It was a festival. It was Warped Tour. We were on a stage that wasn't even on the bubble. It was like off basically next to the porta potties, playing it to nobody. Yeah. So I love that mentality, and I think that's really what moves the needle with everything. And I love that you guys value each other. It seems like you guys get along, I would hope, for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
If any one of these guys, I mean, I'm an ex nurse's aide, so if any one of these guys piss or shit themselves, we take care of it. I love these guys.
Hey, that's also good to have on the road. Do you have any good like road stories that have just like, it's the story you tell when you're on tour, or like going like, oh, this one time?
I would say, well, I haven't had the pleasure of being on tour yet, so I don't.
You guys are still new. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
we're still all new. We've played 5 shows.
The local places still.
I would say, man, any funny moments. The debauchery has not begun yet, unfortunately. But
you guys are in for some treats.
If you can, oh God, hey, listen, man, like we're ready for it. But like I would say, like the moment. We would love to come back so we can share some of the ridiculousness that we see. And we will share that to like,
I think that's I love sharing tour stories because it's one of the most bonding things you can ever do in your life, and it's so fun. I'm super excited for you guys to go out on the road and find that thing. I think what we can, again, with Roadhounds, we want to give those opportunities. We're trying to link with bands and bigger tours, and to give bands like yours and all the other bands that I've interviewed chances to play these tours and open for these bands, and not only for one show, but a leg of a tour. So that's our goal, is, to get these bands on tour, because you know how it is now. You never know who is watching, but you also don't know who gives a fuck about anything. And that's the hard time. It's like now these bands these days are going out on 3-band packages, and they're all heavy hitters, and they're forgetting about the little guys.
Right.
So our goal is at Roadhounds is to try to link with some of the network that I've built and we've built over the years, to be like, hey, listen, if we give you, if we build out this thing for you and blah, 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 give us a spot on your tour so we can give away to, you know what I mean? Like I was on Space Zebra, and we gave away Escape the Fate tour. We gave away a Nothing More tour. We gave away festival stuff. So we're going to keep that going. But we're trying to figure out how to just fucking, because we have thousands of bands that want to do that, obviously. So trying to figure out how we can facilitate everybody, do a Roadhounds Fest. Like, let's fucking tour let's tour the world together and make those stories. I mean, I have so many dumb fucking stories. Like animals dying in the middle of the night on my singer.
That's terrible.
People like it's horrible. And then people like a pastor pounding on our RV door, telling us to get like 4 a.m, telling us to get the fuck out of the neighborhood because we're satanic, which was hilarious because we were just like a bunch of.
Did you say get the fuck out of the neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's
He's
so
like,
good.
we don't want you here. Yeah, a nice gentleman, as I may say, but and just touring and staying on people's couches, and it's so cool, and that's how you build. Going back to the communication, I mean, the connection and stuff like that. That's how you connect with people. You know what I mean? Like those early people, they really think they don't even think they know that. They were the OGs. They were the supporters. They were there from day one. I'm sure you guys, even playing 5 shows, you notice that people are grasping on, and you're their band, and like it's such a cool thing, especially with your sound. It's definitely like it's a mature sound that goes across a big vibe. This is a virtual city where metal culture thrives, and to be honest, there's nowhere else like it. So we want to show you what it's all about, and all you have to do is go to roadhounds.io and just subscribe. What has been that's a good question. With older bands, what's your demographic? One, what demographic do you want, and what demographic has like just been deciding to show up for your those last couple shows?
I would say that the demographic that we want everybody. The thing that I really love to see is
that's cheating. Hey, we're coming for you. That's cheating.
I would really like to see. I would really like to see a lot of the young. See, here's what's crazy is when I listened to "She's the Blade" for the first time, and that song came to life. The first thing that I said to myself was if I was 16 years old and I heard this going through the things that I went through, like with women and like heartbreak and things like that, I would have loved this. So I would love to see a lot of the younger generation really relate to this, because it's not that we're older and we can't relate to you. I'm confronting things from my childhood and my teenage years that I am only confronting now in the music that we're confronting because we have the proficiency to confront it. So it's like it's like those memories, like age to us is kind of a number in that sense. Like it's like we can still relate to what you're relating to. So yeah. I would love to see that, and I think a big chunk of the active rock. I guess the tag is called gymcore. I would say the more like energetic, active type of people have been showing up, but I mean. I would say some bands that I really enjoy that I think share a similar fan base is Kingdom Collapse is a band that I Above Snakes is another one. They're kind of like a rap, like a rap rock fusion, like a new metal type. Mm-hmm. A lot of the active, I would say the active, upbeat, kick-ass kind of rock.
I'd say like Octane.
Yeah,
right?
I would say
Like, yeah.
that seems to enjoy it right now. It's still early in the
Yeah.
community, but I would say, man, a lot of those folks seem to enjoy it. But like you say, like we're just getting a following. It's going to present more. But man, I would really love to bring everyone together, man.
I think that's so. To me, like I wholeheartedly agree that 16 year old age gap is such the best demographic because they give a little bit extra of a shit about music. Like those are the people that are writing shit on notebooks and getting tattooed when they turn 18. Like
identity.
When you get an older crowd and they have friends. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the big one. I don't have any friends. So if I'm putting out new music, I was like, hey, to the five thank you. To the five people I know, here's my new music. Where it's like when you're 16, you go, all right, well, I have 500 friends and I want to tell them all about this band, about that band. Be like, oh, this is just a new Live in Stone album. It's fucking cool. Like, and then you actually have people to show it to. So I agree. And then obviously I love Octane. I think they support new music a lot. They do Test Drive. They do, all that stuff. So those are the two to me in rock music. I'll use air quotes if anybody's listening and not watching, but what the fuck are they talking about?
We're talking about the demographic of people that we've been seeing. Like you're talking about Octane, like how it's like it's kind of a widespread sound, things like that.
So I mean, that's the thing is like I've legit just nothing is up here in my brain right now that whatever I was talking about just went right out the door. So
did you take a SWAT before you came on?
You know what's crazy is I've never drank alcohol in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've never done drugs in my life.
On the show.
Yeah, nothing. Bobby.
That's Bobby. Yeah, it's Bobby that likes the weed.
Bobby loves weed. And a little hint to people that might be listening, Bobby Bobby's coming back, which is great. I got him off his high horse.
Bobby, we didn't mean to get you in trouble. So.
Bobby loves weed. I mean, that's fair. But it's crazy. But my brain sometimes I'm like going somewhere and then I have like these little mini guitars that are on top of my thing from Ron's World. And I just looked at it and I was like, oh man, I remember when he gave me that as I was mid-sentence and it's gone. Mm-hmm. I think that's crazy that I'm so dumb. It's crazy. But here we are and this is wonderful.
One thing I did want to tell you is that as and I think this will be kind of cool to just like, there's a lot of music coming out this year, right? Yeah. As we go further down, there may be some stuff that might be a little bit more appealing to the heavier.
So that's
tiptoeing on the metal genre. So
see, I like that.
Could get a little rowdy.
So it's She's the Blade, right? That's the new single.
That's the new tune, yeah.
So I mean, what is that the vibe you guys are going for? Is releasing a single every what do you do in a month or what?
We do one single every two. Well, yeah, what we do is we start I gotta explain it like a fucking Boy Scout. We start like 6 months in advance from the song. So like we'll do probably a song every 2 months, and then we at the end we'll kind of group everything together into the EP or the album that we do and then redo it.
I feel like that's where music is coming is the single, especially with like streams and Spotify is like they want those monthly listeners up, so you have to feed the beast, once a month or once every 2 months. Yeah. Yep.
It's a drug. I mean, it's a mind altering. I mean, Jesse Cannon says it's a mind altering substance, right? So we use music is a drug, and it's like we have to feed the fans, and it's a never ending process, and we love it. So
yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see what you guys have in 2024. I think you guys are going down the right path. I think everyone's super interested in what you guys are doing. Everybody at Roadhounds is pumped about your camp. We're obsessed with some of your jams there. So I think, keep on that train and honestly, all the philosophies that you've chatted about on this interview has been fucking incredible. And I love it. And I think it's it's people like yourselves that will really push music forward, and and that's why I'm so happy to be involved with Roadhounds, because we want to do that. So there's even little things like, so to wrap up this interview and telling people that are listening is, Roadhounds, every time you subscribe, a percentage of that subscription goes to supporting unsigned artists. So we've given bands $7,500 investments into their thing and all that, and fucking $100,000 investments. So we're not just talking it, we're actually preaching it. So it's good to see you guys and I can't wait to support your guys' band going forward, and I hope that we can benefit you guys just as much as the world is getting benefited from your music.
Josh, we would love a new tour bus.
Hey, one of those little church.
Right now, we got everything else.
One of those little fucking church bands. The only ones.
So I own a tour bus. I bought one last year, and it's been sitting in my driveway. So maybe we'll do a giveaway with it.
Hey,
A giveaway. Oh, that'd be so fun.
But no, thank you guys very much, and everybody, we can't wait to see 2024 and what it has for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us, Josh. We love it, man. We love what you're doing.
Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood Josh Balls, just here telling you that I have a new show coming out. It's going to be called Headbangers Havoc, and it's going to be on Roadhounds. And you can find it there. What we're going to do is we're going to give away a ton of shit all day, every day. We're going to go live. We're going to do pre-tape interviews. Basically, what we want to do is when you're hanging out at a festival, you only get 4 days with your friends. It's terrible. What we're going to do is we're going to bring that vibe to you 365 days a year, and it's going to be incredible. Not only for bands, but anybody that enjoys bands. So make sure you come check it out. Roadhounds.io. I'll catch you there. Make sure you subscribe.